then that scene of him in like the diner, like and Harry like winking.
Yeah, the famous wink, and then the Batman disappearance as the truck
Ooh,
drives
yeah.
by. Yeah. Alrighty, so we recently did a revisit of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy, and we're just gonna kind of go back through these three movies here through this trilogy and just kind of talk about how it aged and what our thoughts are watching these movies nowadays with a brand new day coming down the line here in the next couple of weeks. We figured it was fitting for the time, so let's get started here. What are your initial thoughts? Like, what have you always thought about the Tobey movies, even before rewatch?
You know, I always Toby for still. I think Toby, I would say, is over. I don't know. We're rewatching Amazing Spider-Man 2, so we'll get into those later too.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
always had Toby as number one for me, like for the longest time. I
Yep.
probably still do. I don't. I don't. It's
I
tough.
think-
I think too. I think Spider-Man, the original first one, was like the first superhero movie I remember watching when I was younger. Because
Yeah.
I think, and just like the amount of things that have came from these, like just the inspiration that these movies have created too. So that's right.
Yeah, like so I like Toby, but my thing is he was never like my Spider-Man growing up. I think a lot of people pick him out of nostalgia just because you do got to give him his props. Like before the MCU really got rolling with Iron Man 1 and everything, the early X-Men movies and those in Toby's trilogy were the first kind of Marvel movies to really catch any eyes. So
Go mainstream, pretty much. Yeah.
And got a lot of people invested, and a lot of people that are, 20 something years old nowadays, or even early 30s, like the Tobey Maguire is the Spider-Man they grew up on.
Yep.
So I get that, but I didn't really grow up with those movies. I didn't get into Marvel until the MCU started with Iron Man 1. That's when I started heavily watching. Like I've seen the Tobey movies obviously, but I think I was kind of late on them. So I never really got the hype or the excitement about them. Ironically enough, the third one being the worst one, that's the one I probably watched the most, probably because
yeah.
it was the newest release of the trilogy, obviously.
Yeah, because what else came around? There was like Fantastic Four, like Silver Surfer and the original.
The originals
Talking
with
other
Chris
superhero
Evans.
movies,
Yeah.
that came out around that time. But yep, yeah, rewatching it. Definitely, not that I got new thoughts on them, but like, because I think I have the same order of like the rankings, which we'll go into later, of like our favorite movie to least favorite. But
Right.
yeah, just rewatching it, just seeing. Just back then, I feel like they aged pretty well. Like I feel like especially
Yeah.
the first one in 2002,
Yeah.
just kind of that whole origin story and everything. I felt like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't really look. I mean, maybe some of the flying
Yeah,
scenes,
special
like
effects and the choreography of everything isn't exactly the best, but I don't really hold that against it because
Yeah.
it's
24 years ago.
it's good it's good for what it is for the time. Where do you have the trilogy? Where do you rank it?
Ranking the trilogy, I still have Spider-Man 2 number 1, Spider-Man 1 number 2, and then Spider-Man 3 number 3.
I have it the exact same way.
Yeah.
I think that's most people's order.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that still holds true watching it to this day. I guess let's kind of get into like the
we'll
main
get into
points of each movie.
Yeah,
but-
let's start with the first one, like the original Spider-Man. Yeah, just kind of going over the story. Just his Peter Parker origin story. We saw the spider bite, him kind of getting those powers for the first time.
Right.
And then we saw obviously Uncle Ben's death. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah,
speech.
yeah.
The
The famous
original.
line.
I feel like this compared to like. Because obviously in MCU, Tom Holland, they didn't have an Uncle Ben. It was just Aunt May.
Yeah,
like
and,
I feel like
and
this.
I feel like that took way too long to get. I feel like that was years late.
Mm-hmm.
Like they, because the origin story of obviously Tom Holland's Spider-Man is very different. He didn't have an Uncle Ben in this universe. This version of Spider-Man didn't even have an Uncle Ben, and we didn't get the famous scene of Aunt May dying with great power comes great responsibility until No Way Home.
Yep, his third.
Yep. So that's what I wanted to ask you about because we're rewatching the Andrew Garfield movies. We rewatched the first one. We still need to rewatch the second one. But with Uncle Ben's death, how do you think they did it the best? Like with Aunt May for Tom Holland and then Uncle Ben for Andrew Garfield and then Uncle Ben for Tobey Maguire.
I probably have Uncle Ben for Tobey Maguire. I feel like that, at
Really?
least like emotional wise, maybe Aunt May and Tom Holland. Because I still need,
Yeah, I think
I don't know. The Uncle Ben and Andrews was okay.
the
Like,
only thing I don't like about Uncle Ben and Toby's is just that I didn't like how we didn't actually get to see him get shot or like get to see the way he died. I get it that they tied it all together later in Spider-Man 3 with the whole Sandman angle of like Sandman actually killed him, but it was an accident kind of thing. I always liked Andrew Garfield's better. Just I like the way how quick everything happened with the convenience store and the guy robbing it, and the way he ran out, and then Uncle Ben tried to stop him running away. And like Andrew Garfield kind of had like a direct result for that. Like he could have stopped him. Like the convenience store clerk asked him like, "Hey, stop that guy," and then he didn't do anything. He was just like, "Not my policy," and kept walking. And then he heard Uncle Ben get shot. The way they did Toby's, where the guy like got in the elevator and Toby just stepped out of the way. And then like later on, he's just walking. It just cuts, and then he's walking, and he just sees everybody crowded around him on the sidewalk. And then
I liked it. I don't know. I still feel like Toby's was better.
and I
Because
like
I mean, it's not like there's a big long pause. I mean, it does cut like from the elevator to him walking out. So I mean, it was kind of similar to Andrews.
I
like
like-
out of the store.
I think Andrews and Tom's are both acted better, but I just think
Yeah.
that's because they're better actors than Toby.
Yeah, you could-
So, yep, I just like the way, I don't know, I like the way when Andrew Garfield's like screaming, like, call an ambulance, and he's like panicking. He's got his hand on his chest, and he's like, you can see the panic in his voice, and he's like tearing up. And then the way Tom did it with Aunt May, like, I really liked that scene and the emotion of the way that was like portrayed and acted. But yeah, that's just because I just think they're just better technical actors than Toby.
But then you have just more on Spider-Man 1, then obviously Green Goblin, William Dafoe, like one of the best performances, villains in comic book movie history. So yeah, I think that just enhances this movie, like especially just the villain, from the villain side at least. Because Doc Ock obviously in Spider-Man 2 was really good, and then Spider-Man 3 obviously had like a few villains in that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you too. How do you rank the villains of each movie?
Spider-Man 1, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and then the Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, that's exactly
with
how I
like
have it.
Venom and Hobgoblin, like Harry.
I have Venom at the bottom, and can you even count Harry as a villain technically? I know they fought, but like Harry's kind of, I feel
It's
like he's
pretty
almost
quick.
it's almost like anti-hero in a way, where he like is a villain at the start and then kind of turns and helps him at the end of the movie.
But that's why, like going back on Spider-Man 1, I kind of like that at the beginning, building them up, like this friendship, and then you see like Peter and MJ living next door, and then
Yeah,
like
because they kind of tried to do that in Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's something we'll touch on in that video. But like Hobgoblin was like so ham-fisted and forced in there, and the friendship didn't get introduced until like midway through the second movie, I think. Yeah, I don't necessarily count Harry as a villain.
What do you think about him as a character?
Who, Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like him and Harry's friendship. I think it was built up well because they actually developed it in the first one, throughout the second one, and then into the third one. Like, I like how it was in there from the very beginning.
And the way of the Daily Bugle introduction in the first one.
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson, one of my favorite characters for sure.
That was another thing I had notes on too, was the casting of J. Jonah Jameson. I always hear people saying that that's like one of the best cast characters ever.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's like a flawless casting for that. Yep, so he's perfect.
Yeah, every scene of it is just hilarious.
He's a highlight in all three of the movies for sure.
Yep, definitely. And that's why they brought him back in the MCU.
What would you give Spider-Man 1 out of 10?
I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it like, probably like a 7.5. It's a solid movie, but I just think it's more developed and it's a little bit more polished in the second one. The first one definitely has the stronger villain. I just think the second movie is better written.
Better overall, too, in all facets, I would say.
Yep, start to finish. It's just, it's great from start to finish.
Then obviously, but the first one, you kind of got to build the world and everything. So, it's going to kind of start slower to kind of building everything up. So Spider-Man 2 kind of obviously came in. We already knew what was going on.
Yeah, I'd say there was higher highs in the second one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's crazy too, is we were kind of talking about that as we were watching him, that William Dafoe, his impact as a villain, even though he was only in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has those little cameos in the mirror in the second and third one, like talking to Harry and whatnot. But yeah, he's only in the first one.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that because I haven't watched some of these in years. And
some people talk about it like he's in the entire trilogy.
All three of them, yeah.
Right.
But nope, he's just mainly in that first one.
Yep, and that's it.
Now going into Spider-Man 2, both of our
banger
favorite ones for sure.
Yeah, this is definitely up there for me for all-time Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is easily the best one in my opinion. Highlights of the movie, the train fight scene with Doc Ock is like one of the best fight scenes, I think. It even holds up against fight scenes in the most popular MCU movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. Like, especially back in 2004, too. I think it just aged really well.
I love that cinematic shot where he's like web slinging through the city, and then like it zooms out through Doc Ock's glasses, like the reflection in his lenses.
Yeah, that was cool.
I always thought that was a really good cinematic shot.
Yeah, this is the one where Peter and Spider-Man 2 struggling with like his double life. He loses his powers for like a good first portion and almost half of the movie.
That is one thing I want to compliment the Spider-Man trilogy on, is that for the most part they kept his secret identity intact.
True,
because in Amazing Spider-Man, as we just watched with Andrew, a few people know his identity as the movie goes on. Like, he obviously reveals it to Gwen Stacy. Aunt May seemingly knows, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit more. And then obviously Captain Stacy, which is Gwen Stacy's dad, the police chief in that movie, finds out as well. What do you think about the relationships with their significant other?
Like MJ?
Yeah.
And then Gwen Stacy for Andrew.
Yep. I'd say Andrew and Gwen's, that's one of the highlights of those two movies, of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Like, that's the strongest relationship or strongest couple, I think, out of the three.
Yeah, I think MJ and like the Tobey trilogy was okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. She wasn't like great, but I wouldn't say she was bad or anything, but I don't know.
Yeah. I do like the way she portrays MJ better than Zendaya's MJ.
Yeah.
Zendaya's MJ always kind of gave me a weird vibe. Like in Homecoming, she was that like standoffish, like almost gothic vibe in a way it kind of seemed, and she was super quiet. Whereas MJ in Tobey's movies was like most popular girl in school. Like you saw her at the beginning, she's like dating that jock in the beginning of Spider-Man 1. So
and like the Broadway plays, and singing.
Like MJ and Gwen were always like the girls that were like unattainable to a nerdy like character like Peter Parker
until he gets his powers.
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely think it would probably be Andrew and Gwen as the strongest, Tobey and MJ, and then Tom and Zendaya as MJ. All right, and then here's where the trilogy becomes a mess here. Here's where everything all goes downhill. Spider-Man 3 2007. I guess let's kind of go through positives first. Like, what's kind of like pros and cons of this movie? What's the positives? What stands out to you about this movie?
Positives from Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, of course. That's probably the best part.
The memes from this movie alone carry it. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Positives.
I'd say
tough.
people never really highlight it, but I do like Sandman's kind of origin story. I feel like the emotional beats of the situation with his daughter and the reason that he's trying to get money and the reason that he's in jail is to pay for her medical procedures and stuff. So I do like that because he's not a complete bad guy. He's kind of like got a good reason to do bad things type of thing. I think it just kind of gets overshadowed by
all the other stuff going on.
All the other stuff going on and how much of a mess the movie is.
Yeah.
So nobody really highlights it. Obviously, a strong point is the black suit. Peter, that's probably the best part about the introduction of Venom in this movie is how good the black suit looks.
Yeah, that was good. That was one of my favorite suits for sure.
That's one of the highlights. But again, Venom being introduced in this movie is what causes a lot of the mess.
Yeah, they just I feel like had so much going on that I don't know, just didn't really focus on like maybe if it was just Sandman or I don't know. I don't think Venom really fit. And apparently we saw that too. We were doing like research after, and like Sam Raimi, the director, he didn't even want Venom in, but Sony like pretty much like
forced
told
him. We want Venom in this movie. So he had to kind of rewrite and find a way to just squeeze him in there. And even when he's like Bully Maguire, you see the little back and forth with Eddie Brock, which is good, like at the Daily Bugle. But I don't know, man. It's too much. Like too much shit like ham-fisted into the movie, just Gwen forced Stacy to be in there. Yeah, and he's got this little side relationship with Gwen Stacy going to kind of make MJ jealous. It's too much jumping around. There's some
the whole Harry thing. He's still in this.
There's there's some good moments, but there is some low lows in this movie.
Yeah, I personally don't think it's like a bad movie. It's just got so much going on that I think it just holds it down a little bit less.
It's just too much of a mess. Yeah, it's too much of a jumbled mess. Like it almost they could have taken some of these characters, like the explosion in the relationship between him and Harry, of them fighting, and or Venom. They could have saved that for a Spider-Man 4.
Yeah,
there was just too much going on in this movie. Like it's just too much crammed in there.
Then the final battle was okay when it was like the hanging taxi car.
MJ was in the back of the taxi, and then Venom's got her hanging up there
with webs.
Yeah, and then Venom's doing the spider webs. That's not even a element of Venom's character, is it? He's doing the Spider-Man type webs.
Not that I can remember. Even in the Venom movies with Tom Hardy, I don't remember him ever doing webs.
Yeah, they never touched on that. So yeah, I don't even think that was a true adaptation of Venom, really.
One scene though in Spider-Man 3, they Harry throwing the goblin bomb, and then
the aura farm of that, the little head dodge. That was sick. That was a highlight of the movie. I like him and Harry's fight a lot in the in the Osborn mansion.
Yeah. And then that scene of him in like the diner, like Harry like winking.
Yeah, the famous wink, and then the Batman disappearance as the truck drives by. Yeah, there's some good moments in there, man.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a good.
It's just a mess.
It's a mess.
It's got some positives, but it also has a lot of negatives.
Especially just compared to the second one, like coming off of such a high like that, and then the first one I thought was good as well. Like Spider-Man 3, it just had too much going on.
I think the main thing that drags it down is just the overabundance of characters. Like the first one and the second one is literally just his friendship with Harry, one villain is focusing on, and his relationship with MJ.
Yep.
And then the third one, it's just all over the place because it's like his relationship with MJ, his relationship with Gwen, his little like man boy feud with Eddie Brock, relationship with Harry kind of imploding. And then you've got Sandman, and then you've got Eddie turning into Venom in the mix. And then it's just like there's too much going on. It's getting pulled in too many different directions. Where the first two were way more focused and organized and like clear cut. Like we've got one villain to focus on. We've got one relationship to focus on with MJ. Like it's just kind of like, and then obviously Harry kind of going into his villain arc kind of implodes there. It just makes it too much of a mess.
Yeah, that's why I'd be curious to see like if Sony never forced Venom into this movie, like how it would have turned out.
So we never ranked Spider-Man 2. What would you rank Spider-Man 2 out of 10?
Spider-Man 2 is like at least a 9, like a 9.5 for me.
I'd probably give it like an 8.5.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'd give Spider-Man 1 like a 7.5, like I said, and I'd give Spider-Man 2 an 8.5.
All right. Yeah.
I think it's the strongest of the trilogy by far, and I think that's the most common opinion.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 for sure. Then Spider-Man 3 rating. What would you
the highlight of the trilogy here. Yeah, this movie, like we said, it's just a mess. I'd give it like, man, a 6 at best.
Yeah, that's what I was about a 6. It's 6.5.
There's
some definitely some good moments in there. But
yeah, there's some pros and cons, but again, like a lot of people talk about how entertaining it is for memes, how many memes and funny moments they pull from the movie. But it's just, again, with me, that's just, I've always chalked that up to bad line delivery from Tobey, like just bad corny lines. And you could put that on the writers, like they're writing that material for him to say, but the delivery of it is what turns it into a meme. I'd prefer it to be a little bit more serious and a little bit better acted, but again, they're also not giving him the greatest material to work with. And then it's all over the place with however many plot points there are. There's just, it's trying to hit too many beats too quickly, and it's too rushed.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3, like I would agree, about a 6, maybe 6.5, just with some of those moments in there I really liked. But overall, just too many things going on.
Yeah, there's some highlights, but there's definitely a lot of negatives that bring it down. It's definitely got the lowest of the lows of the trilogy for sure. And then let's kind of touch on, do you think there's going to be a Spider-Man 4 at all? I know that's kind of a common topic right now with him being in Doomsday. Apparently Tobey Maguire is going to play a huge role in Doomsday.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it'd be the craziest thing ever for there to be a Spider-Man 4 after Doomsday.
I don't think so.
Like if that movie grosses like $3 billion or something crazy.
Doomsday?
Yeah, if that movie grosses like 2-3 billion.
It'll gross probably 2.
Yeah,
at least.
And he plays a major role.
I don't think he's going to be a major role.
I don't think it would be the craziest thing ever to see him get a Spider-Man 4.
I don't know. It's been like 20 years.
I think people would love it, though. People would go crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think Sam Raimi would do it.
I'd love to see it because I'd love to see it with this day and age of CGI and choreography and camera quality and everything they could do, just to make it look so much better than the first 3 with the technology at their disposal, like nowadays for making movies. Like I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would definitely sit and watch it, but if I were to put a bet on it, I would definitely say it's not coming.
Do you think any of them grew for you rating wise compared to what you originally thought about them, since you haven't watched them in quite a few years?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's good. It's fun to rewatch them. Yeah, because I haven't watched especially all 3 in a row like that in like short time in a long time. So yeah, I think, I don't know. I still always had the 2 Spider-Man 2, 1, and 3 in that order. That didn't change. Yeah, the ratings really didn't change either.
Yeah. I agree. Not much changed for me. They're exactly what I thought they were. Spider-Man 3, even on rewatch, is still a mess. I have the same ranking as you, where it's Spider-Man 2 at number 1, Spider-Man 1 at number 2, Spider-Man 3 at number 3. Alrighty, guys, I think that is going to be it. We appreciate you guys watching. Let us know down in the comment section below how you guys rank Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. Also, leave a thumbs up. We appreciate you watching to the end. Come back next week for our breakdown of Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man movies. Peace.